With a weather update this afternoon. It's 5:23 now on our Sunday, and I'm tracking the threat for a tornado. We have a tornado warning that's in effect for central Pulaski County and southern Phelps. That goes until 6 o'clock tonight. As you'll notice, we've been watching this rotation, a very strong thunderstorm that was capable of producing up to baseball size hail. It has kind of grown up scale, and we are watching an area of rotation here that is just off to the south of Waynesville, just crossed over Fort Leonard Wood. We're going to keep an eye on some reports that might be coming out of that area as that rotation really picked up as it crossed over Fort Leonard Wood. So unfortunate news there. We're going to continue tracking this generally along and south of I-44. If you're in Rolla watching us now, you are not in this warning. This is going to continue tracking to the east, and it looks like that's going to have a forward speed of around 45 to 50 miles per hour. So I'll go right from that center of rotation. So that's going to continue tracking through that warned area, likely going to be staying south of Interstate 44. And again, this is south of Waynesville. It's a tornado warning that's in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. We have an area of rotation that is just south of I-44. That's going to be tracking out of the Fort Leonard Wood area. Still likely some very strong winds and large hail there now. Go ahead and go over to the radar and take a look at that now. We still have some rain that's moving out of the area, and probably some large hail too that's crossing into Phelps County right along State Route J and County Road 7640. So that is where we have the heaviest rain and likely some large hail at this point. We can go ahead and take a look at some of our severe threats that we are been watching now. Still looks like that hail core I just mentioned, that's north of Spring Creek here in the white. That is where we have the largest hail that's being indicated by ABC 17 Storm Track Doppler radar. We pinpoint that now, possibly up to baseball size hail in this storm that's continuing to work its way east. Storms this afternoon have really ramped up quickly, so pretty much everything that has popped up has had that threat of severe weather and has quickly gone severe. As we take a wider view, I want to show you what else we have going on. We still have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. They're in effect for the Lake of the Ozarks area, also for Marys County. That goes until 6:15. So at least the next 50 minutes or so, we are going to be under some sort of warning here in those orange boxes. And of course, we are on the air right now because we have a tornado warning that's in effect for south central Pulaski County and southern Phelps County until 6 o'clock. Off to the south, we've seen reports of a confirmed tornado that is moving towards the Houston area. So that's just out of our viewing area. But a tornado was observed near the Dawson area, south of Upton. So as we go back farther north, back into our viewing area, this storm is looking pretty healthy. It's kind of out by itself, which is never good news in these sort of situations where we have a lot of instability to work with. Even though we had those morning storms, the atmosphere kind of recharged. When the sun came out, we have a lot of warm temperatures, a lot of moisture to work with for these storms to feed on, and they've really developed along our cold front today. So if we take the wider view, I just want to zoom this out just a little bit here to see if we can pick up a couple of locations in the path of this. Thankfully, a little bit more of a rural area of Phelps and Pulaski counties, but still, if you're in the path of this, in this polygon, this red box here that's flashing on ABC 17 Storm Track Doppler radar, you want to be in your shelter. So that would be locations south of Rolla. Maybe we can pick out a few of those with the strongest portion of this storm. We'll get back out to our velocity and take a look at our storm relative winds. You notice here in this area, it looks like it might have broadened out a little bit. If we go out to our St. Louis radar, maybe that'll give us a better picture the storm relative velocity. Maybe here just off to the east of Fort Leonard Wood, we're still seeing some of that circulation, that red and green indicating winds moving toward and away from the radar. So we have that natural rotation with that storm as it is moving out of Fort Leonard Wood. So the main concern would be the southern tip of Phelps County and eventually moving into portions of Dent County. So that's going to be moving out of mid-Missouri, likely by around or just before 6 o'clock. But it's this location here, and I'm circling just off to the south of I-44. Likely getting some very heavy rain in Spring Creek. That rotation going to be moving over you in Spring Creek very shortly. So if you're seeing this now, want to be an interior room on the first level of your home, away from windows, and a closet, a bathroom, always good options if you don't have a basement or underground space to go to. This is approaching Spring Creek very quickly. And let's go back and zoom a little bit closer here, right along State Route M. That's going to be tracking mainly east, right along State Route M. So if you know anyone along that route in southern Phelps County, you are in the tornado warning. Yancey Mills also in the tornado warning. It looks like that rotation is still at least a couple miles from you. And as that continues to work its way east, that's going to be our main concern here for the time being. We take a wider view of the radar. We also have ABC 17 storm track forecaster Sawyer Jackson here monitoring these storms. It has really ramped up today, and you were covering these last night. What are you seeing on some of those National Weather Service reports right now?
So right now, reports have been kind of slow to come in. Of course, this was reported moving to the east at 45 miles an hour. They do mention that this storm is also associated with tennis ball-sized hail.
Wow.
So definitely going to be not one damage threat, but two with the tornado and this large hail. This, of course, has had history as well, which is why it does kind of have that destructive tag on top of the tornado warning. So this is moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. Threats associated with this, of course, are going to be that rotation producing that tornado warning, and that is going to last until 6, and then large hail also going to be a concern. So, of course, reports have not really been seeing any sort of rotation as of now, from what I'm seeing. But I'm still going to be watching this very closely just to make sure we are receiving all the up-to-date information about this specific storm.
So we're on the air right now. If you're just joining us, unfortunately, we're cutting into that overtime hockey on ABC. And that's because we have a tornado warning that's in effect for Pulaski and Phelps counties. That goes until 6 o'clock tonight. It's for radar indicated rotation. We have not seen any confirmed reports, but certainly that potential for some very large hail. In fact, I want to go ahead and take a look at the severe threat tracker here. This should pick out our threats. Anywhere you're seeing that pink, black, or white, that is indicating where we have some large hail. So just off to the east of Fort Leonard Wood, that is moving over Spring Creek at this point. So the hail core is on you right now. This is going to be dropping possibly up to tennis ball size hail, and even off to the northeast there, possibly seeing that very large hail here, very centralized in the storm. So that's going to be working its way east throughout the tornado warned area. So Fort Leonard Wood, the circulation is moving away from you. We'll go back out to the radar just to take a look at the rain too. Most of the rain, the threat exiting, but if you are up towards Waynesville, we are still seeing more of those severe storms working their way onto the south and southeast. They've kind of formed more into a line, which is something we like to see as far as diminishing more of a singular tornado threat, but we are definitely going to be watching for the potential of damaging winds too with these storms that are working their way to the southeast. So all of the orange boxes on here are severe thunderstorm warnings, and most of those either expire now or they're going to be extended until 6 or 6:30. All of this working its way east and southeast around 45 miles per hour. So while you might be out of the woods for a tornado in Fort Leonard Wood at this point, the tornado warned storm is moving out of your area, but we are going to see another push of strong storms in that area in the next 20 minutes. So severe weather possible again in Fort Leonard Wood by 5:51. We back up a little bit farther to the north, Doolittle likely seeing severe storms by 5:34. That would likely be 60-mile-per-hour winds and at least up to quarter-size hail. Waynesville, it is moving in now, so you'll notice the northern edge or southern edge of that approaching Waynesville with the possibility of up to at least 60-mile-per-hour winds. Rolla, it is surrounding you. It's going to be moving in by around 5:39, and that is severe thunderstorm winds. Tornadic threat is still off to the south at this point. Fort Leonard Wood, as mentioned, by 5:51, and Hillsborough outside of our area by around 6:17. So we have several severe thunderstorm warnings. In fact, we'll take a look at some of those now. I can kind of click on this. So we have that severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be impacting Waynesville, areas along I-44 in Pulaski County until 6:15. And then that also includes Phelps County until 6:15. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be moving into Rolla. And then if we go back out to the west, we have another severe thunderstorm warning. It does look like the severe threat is starting to exit at least most of Camden County, with not the far southern tip, probably seeing some strong winds. But it looks like that section of that severe thunderstorm warning storm is moving out of the area. Up towards Waynesville, or up towards Owensville, excuse me. Severe threat is starting to diminish, but we are still under a severe thunderstorm warning across the southern portions of Gasconade County until 5:45. A tornado watch in effect for all counties here in yellow until 11 o'clock. So a very volatile atmosphere today. As you'll notice, we'll take the wide view of the entire state. Several severe thunderstorm warnings, a few tornado warnings in effect right now. The dark red, that indicates where we have a flash flood warning, and we'll take a look at that too. because we have one that is impacting parts of mid-Missouri. You can't see it because I have the severe thunderstorm warnings overlaid, but that would include the lake area until 9 o'clock tonight. We've seen anywhere from at least 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in those locations. In fact, we can take a look at that now at our 6-hour rain. Look at some of those totals. We've really picked up quite a bit of rain in the last couple of hours. That would include Miller County and then down towards Lebanon along I-44. We might even be able to sample that rain now. So some very heavy rainfall, at least an inch, if not more, probably up to 2 in some of those local spots. If we go back out to our radar, though, I want to track this tornado warned storm again. Again, it's a tornado warning that looks like this might have intensified even more. That hail core looks a little bit stronger off to the east of Fort Leonard Woods. That's going to continue to be a concern. Some very strong winds and very large hail. Go back out to that velocity, and you can kind of tell where that rotation is. This sheer wind rotation. I'm not seeing it too much here on Springfield radar. Let's go back out to St. Louis. That might help us a little bit more. I'm still seeing it on the velocity, so there's still that threat, but it doesn't look as organized as it did just a little bit ago. So that's something I like to see on the radar. Go back out there. Still have a little bit of that right here that has just moved over the Spring Creek area. So right along State Route M, it's still taking that easterly track there that's approaching flat. Looks to slide just south of Yancey Mills. You want to be in your safe place there. And eventually that's going to be crossing out of Phelps County as that continues to progress onto the east. But I'm still seeing some rotation here. So definitely don't want to let our guards down. As you'll see, that rotation still somewhat broad there that is off to the south of Rolla. So I don't see any immediate tornado threat for Rolla at this time, but just stay on guard as we still have some severe storms that are going to be moving back in your direction. This kind of comma shape is what we look for when we're looking at rotating storms, and the fact that it's out by itself kind of allows it to feed on all of that instability and that wind shear that we've had present all day. Storms to the north were singular, but now they're kind of forming into one long line that continues to press to the southeast. And you'll notice off to the north, we have not seen much more development, and I don't think we're going to. So if you're in Columbia, really not seeing much of a severe threat at all. Jefferson City, I think it's safe to say that we are in the clear there as well. Lake of the Ozarks starting to clear out, especially up towards Laurie, Gravois Mills, and Osage Beach. Things are starting to clear out for you. So the main concern will be for locations along I-44, so right along the corridor that is right along Highway 63 coming out of Marys County down towards Rolla. That's the immediate threat right now as these storms continue to work their way east. Now, Sawyer, are we seeing anything new? I'm kind of hearing some chimes on the computers.
Yes, so we have gotten, of course, they have at this point gotten at least Pulaski County out of the threat. That is, they are still in the threat for a destructive storm, but the tornado warning has since been moved on, of course, to Phelps County. And then we are still seeing that they're going to continue this until 6 p.m. for now. They haven't really confirmed any sort of rotation as of, or at least haven't confirmed any rotation with their eyes as of right now. So they're just going to keep it radar indicated. Cool. This is still moving at about 45 miles an hour to the east, about 13 miles southwest of Rolla. As of a couple minutes ago, this looks like it is going to stay to the south of Rolla. But this is moving more towards areas like Yancey Mills. You can expect that pretty soon here, as this is going to be moving more to the east and making its way closer. Now, it is also still associated with that tennis ball size hail, which is about 2.5 inches. So do keep that in mind. That is going to be one of our main really threats, or at least one of the threats associated with this specific storm. We are going to be seeing, of course, that rotation still being a factor, which is why there is that tornado warning. Make sure that if you are in the path of this, that you are going to be taking your safe spot, whether that be going downstairs if you have a basement. That's a great idea. If not, go ahead and put as many walls in between you and the outdoors. Make sure you are away from windows, as those are all going to be things that keep you safe from any sort of threats. So again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect until 6 p.m. This is moving, again, towards areas like Yancey Mills, currently in Pulaski County. Actually, yes, excuse me, this is in Phelps County. Pulaski, you are out of that, but you do still have the potential to see some potentially destructive storms with this main line of storms. So we can kind of go ahead. I'm going to take a closer look, and if you if my director could go ahead, take links to, so I can kind of time out this while we check on some reports here. I'm going to check on velocity real quick. Not seeing the best rotation if anything, could be moving towards Yancey Mills very soon. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to our radar here and put a track on where we best, or like our best guess of where this rotation is. So this is moving at about 45 miles an hour, so I'll go ahead, extend that out just a bit further here. And let's see, not getting any times on that, so I'll redo this real quick. Try a different track here, see if we can get a better idea of when this storm is going to be heading your way. And I'll put a little bit of a lead time on it. This is a little bit ahead of the rotation itself, but I just want to make sure you are getting prepared. Looks like we still aren't getting any times on that, so I'll just go ahead, scroll in just a bit here and give you some more ideas. So Yancey Mills, you can expect this in the next couple of minutes, as we've got this rotation right where this pink, red, and yellow kind of hook down to the south. That is where we are expecting this rotation to be present. If we zoom in just a bit closer, it's going to be moving near County Road 6065, more towards at least County Road 6020, and then further off into the east, we're going to be expecting Dent County Road 2010. Of course, that is out of our viewing area, but still going to be seeing that rotation approaching in the next couple of minutes. Again, this is a tornado-warned storm moving to the really east at about 45 miles an hour. We are seeing that rotation still somewhat present. You can kind of see this little gray area right here is probably our best guess on where that rotation is going to be. I'll check the radar for St. Louis as well, seeing if we can see anything rotation-wise. It still doesn't look like anything is super present here. So we're just going to continue to stay on for as long as this system is warned, because of the fact that it is a tornado-warned storm.
Just a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. So yeah, it looks like we still have that radar indicated rotation. If we go back over to Lynx 1, we'll quickly hit on some of these heavy rainfall rates. We have a flash flood warning that is in effect for portions of Camden, much of Pulaski, and then for portions of Phelps as well, and that goes until 9 o'clock tonight. We're seeing some reports here from the Springfield National Weather Service that we have seen flooded roads there in Iberia. It looks like a Main Street is completely flooded, and then Tavern Creek, if you know where that is in Iberia, that's all the way up to Route 76 there, Tavern Creek Road. So some very heavy rainfall. I'll take a look at some of these 4-inch per hour rainfall rates, even higher in some of their spots there along these storms that are moving into Pulaski and Phelps counties. So super high rainfall rates, definitely a lot of moisture in the air today. But our main concern and why we are on right now is because we have that threat of a tornado. We have, looks like, we'll go back to that in a second, a new update from the Springfield National Weather Service. They issued a flash flood warning for Marys and Miller counties. And let's see what the timing on this is. I'll just read it off really quick. That's going to go until 11:45 tonight. So that's where we've seen up to an inch of rain already. Of course, those very high rainfall rates, and they're expecting another 1 to 2 inches of rain in those areas. So we're certainly seeing that heavy rainfall now. Main concern is this tornado-warned storm that is moving through southern Phelps County. So Rolla, you are in the clear at this point, but I am still seeing some of that radar indicated rotation. I'm going to circle it here, and we're going to try to get a good track. Just not a high population, which is good in this area, but that continues to work its way east. In fact, I'll do a new one since this continues to update. Might get a better look there at the storm relative velocity. Circle that for you. Again, this is a tornado warning that continues for the next 19 minutes. This is in effect until 6 o'clock. We're going to continue to track it while it's still in our viewing area, and that would be for Phelps County. So again, this is tracking through the area. We have that very heavy rainfall. All of the storms that have gone up today have really been volatile. They've picked up that severe threat very quickly and have that threat of up to baseball size hail, and a couple of these we've had reports of that as these storms move out of the Lake of the Ozarks region. We'll put a track on this as it moves into portions of Dent County up towards Salem. It looks like that rotation, you probably can't see us in Salem, but if you know anyone who lives in Dent County, this is going to be moving in their direction. So threat continues for southern Phelps County. We'll take a closer look at some of those highways and intersections there. It looks like we have, what is this main highway here that's moving through Yancey Mills? It looks like that rotation is moving through Yancey Mills right now, just south of Vida. So if you are in Yancey Mills, this is moving right over. We have some very large hail, you want to be in your safe place. If you're just now seeing this, get to a closet, a bathroom, away from windows on the first level of your home as this radar indicated rotation starts to work its way over. So you'll see here, it has continued to hold that at least weak rotation. We have not seen any reports of anything on the ground just yet. A circle of that there, and we'll get a little closer. Again, Yancey Mills, unfortunately, right underneath that. Clear this off. If you're along County Road 5340, County Road 6020, that's moving out. And then if you're in the Highway 00 area, those are some impacted locations here within the next minute or two. Lacoma, the rotation is moving quickly in your direction. Lake Spring, that's next up here along the line of this tornado warning. Seaton and Winkler also in the path of this radar indicated rotation that we are currently under tornado warning for in southern Phelps County. So that continues to track off to the east. As we look back towards Waynesville, Fort Leonard Wood, some strong storms now continuing to work their way off to the south and east. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect until 6:15. That's for Pulaski and Phelps counties. It's for all of these cells that continue to work their way southeast. So if we go back out to look back up towards the Lake of the Ozarks. Let me try to clear this off. Things are starting to clear out. So looking like we're in better shape. We have a flash flood warning that's in effect for portions of Miller and much of Marys counties, as we've seen at least an inch of rainfall there, with another 1 to 2 possible, especially across southern portions of those areas. But main concern would be this tornado warned portion of this storm. We've seen reports of some very large hail with the storms this afternoon. We turned on our severe threat tracker. This kind of takes away a lot of the clutter that you see, a very colorful map with the radar on, and this can help us pick out our severe threats. So anywhere you're seeing pink, white, or black, those are differing hail sizes that our radar is picking up. So we can take a look at those. The large hail is just south of Newburgh. Radar is still picking up that potential of up to tennis ball size hail as the storm works its way through southern Phelps County. So the wider view, just to give you a picture of the warnings as we have all of the radar kind of cleared off. Here in the dark red, that's a flash flood warning. That includes areas across southern portions of the Lake of the Ozarks, Miller and Marys counties, Phelps and Pulaski. Tornado warning that's in effect for southern Phelps, and then severe thunderstorm warning here that includes southern Marys, northern Phelps, northern Pulaski, and then portions of far eastern Camden County. And those are for the severe storms that will have that possibility of producing some large hail. But it does look like the hail cores in those storms have kind of come down just north of Waynesville. Not even looking at maybe quarter size with that. It would mainly be a wind threat. So a half-inch size hail there up to nickel size, maybe about golf ball size hail that's just south of Lebanon. And then, of course, our strongest storm is the one that is tornado warned right now. So we'll go back out to that, and we'll go take a look at the velocity, and we'll see how that rotation is doing. Zoomed in a little bit there. We'll go back over there to southern Phelps County and try to turn on the velocity there. Still have some of that rotation that's off to the south of Raleigh. I can kind of pick it out, and you'll notice that where that green is the greenish gray color is trying to get close to that red. So it does look like the rotation has weakened a little bit here over the last 10 to 15 minutes in some of these scans, but it's still present. So that's why we still have that threat of a tornado here. And you can even see that a little bit better if we go over to our storm relative velocity. Certainly nothing that is catching my eye compared to the storm that's off to the south. That's one. This one is in purple, and that's because a confirmed tornado has been reported near the Houston area, and that continues to work its way east. That's out of our viewing area, but we have a couple of confirmed tornado warnings just south of mid-Missouri. So our concern now for the next 15 minutes would be this radar indicated rotation that is moving across portions of southern Phelps County. It's looking like it's broadening out a little bit. So we're going to stay with this as long as it's in Phelps County, but I can tell you it's looking a little bit better here, at least as far as the tornado threat is starting to look a little bit lower. We still have that rotation, but I don't think it's quite as strong as what we saw before. So I've kind of pinpointed that rotation area here in green. If we take a closer look, still moving just out of the Yancey Mills area and approaching Highway 00 now in Phelps County and up towards Lacoma. So towns I mentioned before, Lacoma, Lake Spring, and up towards Seaton and perhaps up towards Hobson. You're in the tornado warning. That's going to be moving in your direction here. We'll take a wider view as this moves out of Phelps County and up towards Dent County. That's where the rotation would be, where I'm pointing that green area. And then elsewhere, we have those threats for severe thunderstorms. I'm not seeing as much rotation along that line, which is great news. But we'll go ahead and track some of those storms as they kind of turn into more of a cluster of storms that work their way southeast. Main concern with those would be up to maybe golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Those are tracking to the east and southeast around 40 to 45 miles per hour. Those would be moving back in towards Fort Leonard Wood here in the next 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, and out of our viewing area by Burnham by 6:37. So not too much more development off to the north, which is good news. We still have a tornado watch in effect, but I do think the threat is diminishing much more in Jefferson City and Columbia. We can take a look at the current conditions in Columbia and Jefferson City. If you're watching us from there, things have started to calm down. We've really seen most of the rain south in Jefferson City and points south. We've dropped down to about 70 degrees, almost an inch and a half of rainfall in the capital city this afternoon from those storms that moved through. So just some very high rainfall producers as they've moved through. Winds up to about 43 miles per hour in Jefferson City with the storms. In Columbia, it has been a little bit cooler. We'll see how these storms off to the south have kind of affected things. It's still a little bit warmer by about 10 degrees. We've seen quite a bit of rain at the Columbia airport, up to about an inch and a half, but in Columbia, not quite as much compared to what we saw this morning. Wind speeds up to about 35 miles per hour with the storms that came through earlier today. And of course, Sedalia, we haven't seen too much since early this morning. Temperatures have recovered there as well. Still about 81. We picked up about 0.4 of an inch of rain, and winds got up to about almost 40 miles per hour. Now at the Lake of the Ozarks, storms are still exiting right now. And you'll see we kind of still have rainy conditions with those storms exiting. We've picked up about a 0.2 of an inch. Likely that's going to be at the Kaiser Airport. So this location has likely picked up a bit more. Winds up to 30 miles per hour there. And temperatures have dropped off a ton too with these storms moving through that part of the Lake of the Ozarks. So we'll take our radar view and we'll go back to this tornado warning. It looks like the tornado warned portion of this is starting to work its way into Dent County, but I want to take a closer look and get a picture of that rotation yet again. We'll go back out to our Springfield radar, storm relative velocity, just showing where we have some of that rotation still. It's still there, so still prompting that tornado warning. We'll get closer and I'll try to circle it for you. It is now moving right up towards Lacoma. So if you're in Lacoma, that's going to be moving in your direction. We'll circle that there. It's where we have this red and green area. So it's moving out of Yancey Mills right up there along Highway 00. Are we seeing anything new, Sawyer, as of the last 10 minutes or so?
We have not really gotten any new reports as of right now. They still seem to be just kind of determining what to do with this specific storm as we, of course, get close to the expiration of this first warning. So we'll have to see what they do, but the circulation currently, like Jessica just mentioned, is going to be moving towards Lacoma very shortly across really Highway 0 and more like Dent County Road 250 into Lake Spring very shortly. This is a tornado warned storm. It's going to be moving at approximately 45 miles to the east, and we are going to be seeing this rotation still sticking around, which is why we do have that tornado warning and which is why we are still on the air. Not really seeing a whole lot of impressive rotation as of right now, just that little red and green right there meeting. That's where we are going to be expecting that rotation, but again, it does not look very impressive right now, which is a good sign, but still, if you are in this tornado warning, especially down to the south of Phelps County, we are going to be expecting this storm impacting you very shortly. And it is also associated with hailstones that have been up to, or at least radar estimated to be up to tennis ball sized or 2.5 inches. So that is going to be another threat. If you are in the path of this specific storm, make sure you are getting into your safe place, whether that be just putting as many walls in between you and the outdoors, getting away from windows. If you have a basement, great. Make sure you are going down there because this is a storm that is still associated with circulation. Looks like as for right now, they are going to continue this tornado warning. Of course, areas more to the west of Phelps County, you aren't going to have to worry about this as much because this circulation and this main storm has already pushed off to the east. But we do still have another line of storms that have been producing winds up to 60 miles per hour, and hailstones that have been an inch or greater. Looks like they are going to trim that up a bit. So to the more west of Phelps County, you are going to be out of that specific tornado warning. but this is still going to continue off into the west or the east.
Yep, still seeing that rotation. Just trying to keep an eye on reports coming in. Springfield National Weather Service still looking at the area along and south of I-44 as the main area for severe and tornadic storms tonight. So overall, I want to give a bigger picture here. Go back out to our radar. Our severe threat is starting to diminish if you're up towards Miller County, Lake of the Ozarks, up north of Marys County. Even we can go back out to St. Louis radar. Still seeing some rain across portions of Osage and Marys counties, but I'm not expecting any more development behind the cold front. So our severe threat's going to be diminishing here in the next hour or so as these storms exit there along I-44, but we still have that threat here for the next at least 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to see how long this line sticks around. Most of these storms today have been moving off to the east and southeast around 40 miles per hour. So still our main concern would be some large hail that's moving through portions of southeastern Phelps County, so south of Rolla. We still have that bit of rotation. At this point, it's going to be crossing, what is this highway here, that goes through Lake Spring and up towards Seton. Highway 72 along the Dent and Phelps County line. That's where the rotation would be. Take a closer look there. Is moving right over Lake Spring right now. And the good news is we have not seen any reports of anything on the ground compared to what we are tracking off to the south. Just seeing, we're hearing some new stuff coming in. Main things that have been new since Sawyer just updated us, we have some reports of flooding in Miller County coming in. You'll notice most of the storms are moving out of Miller County, but we have reports of flooded roads there and some power outages, at least up to 600 people without power in Morgan County. With the storms that moved through earlier up to baseball size hail there. So at this point, we're still on the air, at least for the next 6 minutes or so, as long as this tornado warning is in effect. It's going to be moving out of our viewing area. It's moving along the Dent and Phelps County line, but it's going to be crossing here Highway 72 very imminently. So if you're there, if you're in Hobson, Seton, Winkler, or even Bangert, that's going to be moving in your direction. So it's generally staying south of Interstate 44. But we also have a threat for strong storms that continue to work through those severe warned areas. And we'll put a big track on those as they slide off to the south and east. So generally at around 40 miles per hour, we'll take those out of our viewing area, like I mentioned, after 6:30. So it won't be long before our severe threat comes to an end. But if you're along I-44, that's where our main concern is. So if you're up towards Camdenton, Vienna, things are starting to clear out. Jefferson City and Columbia clear for the night. We still have the tornado watch. We're going to let you know when that expires. But the immediate severe threat is right along I-44 with those storms. So it's now 5:56. We have severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning that's still in effect for southern Phelps County. That continues to work its way east. We still have some decent looking radar indicated rotation here, looking at the different areas of wind rotation. Looks like it's not super strong. If we take a look and compare to the ones off to our south, we have some confirmed tornadoes that are moving through portions of southern Missouri where the environment has not been touched yet. That's where the largest threat for a tornado is right now, but we still have this area of concern that's working its way south of Rolla, south of Newburgh, Steelville, into Crawford County, up towards Bourbon. Be in the threat for some severe storms. So we're going to hold on to this for the next couple of minutes. Hang with us as this area of rotation continues to work its way east. So if you're in Seton, that is moving in your direction. You definitely want to be in your safe place. Up towards Hobson, that is moving right over you right now. The best locations of this rotation are along Highway F up to Highway 72. From Lake Spring to about Hobson. You follow that. That's where the rotation is moving across right now. Let me zoom back out. I do want to try to track this for you. It's moving through somewhat of a rural area, which is it's always good to see, but we still have that rotation, which is concerning as this moves through Phelps County. So let's try to get the area of rotation now. We back out just a little bit up towards Steelville. This is not in your you're not in a tornado warning, but that's going to be moving in that direction. Moving out of mid-Missouri up towards Potosi by around 6:57 and up toward Bonne Terre. in Washington County by around 7:12. So generally the threat, as mentioned, looking like it's going to be coming to an end for much of mid-Missouri within the next hour. But I want to go back out to the radar. We're still watching that one storm, a couple more minutes on that tornado warning. Still, even if you look at the radar signature, this is what we look for, these supercellular features where it kind of curves and we have that inflow wind that's coming into the storm. We still have that rotation that's just south there along the Dent and Phelps County line, and that's why it is still prompting a tornado warning. Back off to the west, we have severe thunderstorm warnings that are still in effect until 6:15 for Laclede. That's moving into Pulaski County. That goes until 6:15, and then across portions of Phelps County, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for the northern section there, with storms moving through the Rolla area at this time. That goes until 6:15 as well. So getting to the end of our severe threat, we want to thank you for your patience and hanging with us. We still have a tornado warning. It's in effect for the next couple of minutes for Phelps County. This kind of could be confusing. It's a dark red color. This is not a tornado warning. This is a flash flood warning that goes until 9 o'clock for Camden County, and it was just issued a little bit ago for Miller County until 11 o'clock tonight, as well as Marys County, and that is for that potential of heavy rainfall that continues. We've seen quite a bit there in the last hour or so. We're starting to get some reports of flooded roads, especially in Iberia, where we've had quite a bit of rainfall. And then we've had reports of power outages as well. So we can take a look at those while we are here. Some of those outages that are popping up. Let me turn off our warnings, get a better picture of that. Looks like the highest outages are coming from Laclede County. If we take a sample of that, we're seeing some of those numbers coming in. A good percentage of Miller, Camden, and Pulaski County is starting to see some of those power outages trickling in as those storms work their way through. So we'll go back out to our radar, just check on that tornado warning. It's 5:59 now. Still have that in effect, but it does look like it's moving out of Phelps County, at least the area of rotation. It's looking like it's going to stay just south. So I think when this expires, we're going to be able to get off the air, but want to just make sure here, if we take a look at that radar indicated rotation, it's still there. So it's something we want to keep tracking until that warning expires. So if we take that view back up, got a picture of our entire area. It looks like they just dropped that warning. So want to give you the wider view. Want to go back out to Sawyer briefly here just to let us know if we're seeing any new damage reports coming in.
As for right now, no new damage reports, although, of course, we are getting reports, actually, I should say, we are getting flash flooding reports in Miller County. That is one of the reports. And then more specifically in Phelps County, where we have seen this main storm move through, we did actually see a report of 1.75 inches, or inch hail. So that is a little over, of course.
Like golf ball?
Yeah. That might be about golf ball. But that was in Phelps County. That was reported a couple minutes ago. Looks like as of now, we're going to wait and see what they do with the tornado warning. As of now, they've let it expire. Yeah. But we do still have this severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be moving through the rest of really Phelps County into really far southeast Phelps County, to be more specific. That is going to be warned for most likely hailstones up to an inch in diameter or greater. Yes, actually golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It's going to be moving out very shortly, and looks like reports as of right now, we are seeing some more reports of 1-inch hailstones in Phelps County, along with another report near, that was actually near Rolla or south of Rolla, and then we had another near Lacoma of 1-inch hailstones. So that makes sense why this storm is still warned for hailstones up to an inch in diameter or larger. But it looks like, as for right now, they aren't really talking too much about extending this warning any further.
That's good. It looks like that we still had some of that broad rotation, but it's not as tight as some of these storms that were tracking off to the south. So wanted to give you the bigger picture. A lot going on this map before we sign off. There in yellow behind all of this clutter is a tornado watch that goes until 11 o'clock. I have a strong feeling that some of those counties are going to get expired just because temperatures have dropped. Things have stabilized behind our cold front. We still have a severe threat here along I-44. Several severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for at least the next 30 to 45 minutes. All of these little dots on the map, that's where we've had reports of large hail. You've seen reports of anywhere from ping pong to up to baseball size hail with some of those storms that have moved through mid-Missouri today, generally south of I-70. But overall, our severe weather threat looks to be diminishing here in the next hour. We'll stick with this. We want to send you back out to programming, but if you need updates on the weather in the meantime, we will have that on abc17news.com and on our ABC 17 Storm Track weather app. We'll let you know if any more tornado warnings